Oh my god, I feel rusty. Makeup brushes, chopsticks, if you have a big collection, anything. Hi, welcome back to my channel La Fraise. I'm Noémie and today I want to show you how to make your own paintbrush wraps, or this can be for pencils or knitting needles. I think I'm going to make something similar for myself. For my knitting needles, circular needles, I'm going to make something a lot shorter and longer. So yeah, so I wanted to show you how to make those super cute little wraps for yourself. So today I will show you how to make this size of wraps, and I will unwrap it in a second and actually show you, but I will also, so on this side of the screen you'll see the sizing in centimeter and inches for this wrap specifically, and on that side of the screen I will show you so that you can basically make one for any size paintbrush you have. I will also quickly show you this one, and I will give you pointers at some point on how to make this one, which is the first one I made, which is very big. It has this little protector here. To be honest, this bit I haven't put in the new wraps because I just didn't really see the point, and I also didn't make double layers because actually, as you can see, the layer is almost as tall as most of the brushes, so the brushes that are in the back layer end up being totally buried at the back, and it doesn't work super well for me. I will give you a few pointers on how to make it this way if you prefer it this way, but the tutorial is for this one. I will quickly show you because I have a few colorways. So this one has the tie in one way, and that's the same color as the inside. The outside is colorful and the inside is the same color for the pouch. And then this here, I will also show you how to put your tag on it. And so you can see this style, the ties are the same color as the outside, and when you open it, all the inside is the same, the pouch and the backing. So this way you can see the different style and see what you like best. Okay, to make your paintbrush wrap, you're going to need 2 rectangles of fabric. The first one is going to be 29 centimeters or 11.5 inch high for 27 centimeters, that's 10.5 inch wide. If you want to make your own size, calculate the number of brushes you want to put in your wrap and give it 2 centimeters to 2 centimeters and a half, that's 0.7 inch to 1 inch wide per brush. The minimum size you'd want for the width of your wrap is going to be 24 centimeters or 9 inch and a half. If you make it shorter than that, you're basically not going to be able to wrap it because it's going to be too short to actually roll. For the height, you want to take the height of your tallest brush and add 4 centimeters or 1.5 inch. For the pocket part of the wrap, you're going to want to cut a rectangle that is going to be 26 centimeters of height, that's 10 inches, and it's going to be the same width as the wrap. If you want to make your own size, you're going to take the size of your tallest brush and add 1 centimeter or 0.4 inch. So if you actually want a double layered one like this one, what I would recommend is to use 1/3 of height of this on this first pouch and 2/3 of height on the second pouch. This way it's kind of evenly distributed, and hopefully you don't have too many small brushes that are going to get lost at the back like I do. You also want 2 ties, so that's going to be 4 centimeters wide, which is 1.5 inch. And I make it 40 centimeters long, which is 16 inches. That should be a good enough size for any wraps you have. That's also the size I have for my very long one. So this should be perfect for you no matter the size wrap you make. And you need to cut 2 of those. If you want the little guard, it's going to be the width of your wrap, and then I make it 17 centimeters high, that's 6.5 inches. Consider that this is the size that is going to need to be folded in 2. You fold it in 2, and then towards the folded edge you sew those curves side. You then trim the seam allowance, press it nicely, and then you'll just have to add that in the construction later. I recommend to interface at least one of the pieces of fabric you have, and I actually recommend to interface the lining. That's what I did here, and it means that the lining is very flush on the inside. The back, it doesn't matter if it's a bit too big, because actually you will want the back to roll over a little bit like this and to end up stretching and be a bit longer. In this version, I actually interfaced the backing and not the lining, and what you can see is that the lining became a little bit too big and too loose. So for a neater finish, I think interfacing the lining is going to work better, like I did in this one. press the cords in half and then each half back once more towards the middle, like so. Pinch the ends, so you're going to leave the two small folds as they are, but you're going to take the main fold of the middle and turn that right side against right side. And you're going to give this a tiny stitch line at the end. It's going to look something like this. I'm going to trim the excess seam allowance and turn it. I use my scissors to poke it perfectly out. Don't use scissors, use chopstick or something that's blunt so that you don't damage your end. And this gives you a very neat end for your ties. Now I'm gonna stitch along this long end to make it one proper tie. Okay, we're ready to start constructing. Take the little pocket piece of your paintbrush wrap and fold it in two. Place it on the lining of your wrap and sew it around the three edges so that it's basted. I really sew it very, very near the edge so that it afterward doesn't show and it stays within the seam allowance. I then get my ruler and I mark about every 2 centimeters. For the biggest brushes at the end, I leave about 2.5 centimeters, and that's 1 inch. As we move towards the right, I give them progressively a little bit more space so that the brushes can become wider and wider. And then also that's something, if you don't want to make it super precise, just go by eye, just make it wider as you go, and it doesn't need to be an exact science. But if you want exact measurement, I recommend at least 1.5 centimeter for your smallest brushes. That's about 1/2 inch. And then you go progressively to 2 centimeters, 0.7 inch, and then up to 2.5 centimeters, that's 1 inch. Sew your lines from the bottom towards the middle. That will help not to have wrinkles in your pockets. And do middle first and then the quarter on each side, and then do the smallest line afterwards. This will allow that if there's a little bit of excess fabric, it will be spread amongst all of the pockets and not just create a lot of bulge on one of the little pouch. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of excess fabric on that pocket bit, because anyway your brushes will need to be slid inside, so if there's a bit of extra space, it's all good. Absolutely no problem. Attach your ties. You can actually have them on the side you prefer. So here I have it on the right, but on my first paintbrush wrap I have it on the left. I actually decided to have it on the right because for the new ones, I actually made it on the right because I prefer opening it on the smallest paintbrushes first, and here it opens on the biggest, so I didn't like this too much. You can choose whichever side you prefer. To have the tag in the same way as I have it, which is folded towards the front, you need to have it facing your lining. Then you stitch all around, leave it in a little gap open so that you can after turn your wrap the right way around. I stitch everything at 1 centimeter seam allowance, that's 1/2 inch. At this point, I personally chose to slightly round my corners. That means that instead of doing a sharp angle in every corner, I round them off slightly. I personally did it freehand, but you could definitely trace it if that makes you feel safer. Just check that the ties and the tag have been securely caught in the seam allowance. You can also do a few reinforcing stitches there if you feel like you need to, but it's not somewhere where you're going to put so much pressure anyway, so it should be fine. Clip your 4 corners. Now turn your wrap the right way around through the little hole you left open and give it a good press. Now we see we still have a hole that's been left open. We're gonna top stitch all around the wrap, making sure that we close that hole in the process. As you can see, I've also clipped my tag, and that allows me to also top stitch it so that it's nicely folded towards the front. Go nice and slow at the corners, this way they're nice, neat and pretty. And this is what it looks like. I still need to put a little bit of water on this because you might see that you're still able to see my water-soluble pen. And here's the final result. This is what the finished product looks like. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was clear enough. If you have any question, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to help you down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy making your paintbrush wrap. This one is ready to go to a dear friend, and this one will be my travel wrap because, as you saw, my other one is very, very big, so this is much more convenient and small to travel with. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget that you can make anything. Bye! What disaster!